Hello, hello. You already know what I'm gonna say. We have more XDs, okay. Sorry if there's a lot of glare going on. It's my glasses, it's my zipper, I don't know. But anyways, today we have more XD and we have a video by Peach Leaf, and I feel like me and Peach Leaf have this little thing going on, you know. I love your videos. You commented on my video. Still waiting on that edit. The TikTok edit video, by the way. Anyways, we have a lore deep dive for XD, and I'm excited because I don't know if the comeback will have anything to do with the previous lore, but I want to know anyway. And I'm sure y'all are getting tired of XD by now, but I don't care. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But right now we're doing XDs because I love them. I'm obsessed and I'm ready, so let's go.
Hi, this is the first time I'm using an AI voice, and I know that people usually prefer just text, but in this video there is a lot of things we have to talk about. And I don't want to torture you by making you read my whole script. Anyway, before we start, I want to explain how this video will be organized. As you might expect, I'm no MatPat, but I definitely did try my best to connect all of this together. So first, what I'll do is I'll introduce you to my personal theory. This theory is basically something I thought of, plus a bunch of other interesting theories I got from reading other people's ideas. And at the end of the video, I will share with you the less popular and more controversial theories that either crossed my mind or I saw them on Twitter.
I love theory videos.
If I got a theory from someone, in the right corner of the screen, I will put their Twitter account. And because all of their album names are important for the lore, in the beginning of each segment, I will give you the definition of the album name. Now let's finally get started.
I can't. The
This
dance.
story begins with 6
I feel
ordinary
like I just got
guys.
activated.
Ganeum, Jungsu, Gaon, Ode, Junhan, and Juyeon. We see them all living their normal lives, but they all seem somewhat unhappy with their current situation. Now, you might think, what could possibly happen for these random 6 dudes to meet each other and form a band? Well, let me introduce you to the beautiful yet dangerous world of Flatform, and how to enjoy Flatform, which is basically an ad for this new interesting game that's coming out. We see them explain everything to us.
Platform is available on both PC and mobile. To play, simply create an account and log in. Platform has 3 play modes: Audience, Solo, and Ensemble. Audience mode does not require any gear, but for Solo and Ensemble mode, you'll need a wearable device that is compatible. In Audience mode, you can enjoy other players' ensemble. In Ensemble mode, players will be randomly matched into a team. Once the team is set, an ensemble space will be assigned automatically. Play the first round and check your team grade. Warning: no one has been to Flatform only once. Be careful of addiction, as the world of Flatform will be more extraordinary.
Oh my god, I just said I was addicted to XD.
Reality.
Wait!
The warning we just saw
This
is
is so
something that is going to
cool.
be important later on, so keep it in mind. Anyway, now that you
I feel like I need to go back
understand the
to the
basics,
beginning.
let's get into the real thing. We see all of our 6 characters find about Flatform through posters, computers, and flyers, where your sound is formed into music. They all seemed already interested in music, which is something we can see because of the way they were fantasizing about playing instruments.
Is this
But they
a
felt
trailer?
stuck in their boring lives and their ordinary jobs. Maybe this was their way out. Maybe they can finally experience what they always dreamed of.
Because it's VR, that's why they were like, don't get addicted, don't get stuck.
And just like that, they made their accounts and are waiting to get matched to random people who will become their bandmates. And there they are. Our boys finally meet in a plain white room. As they start to play, they get a notification that they ranked down, but that doesn't make them give up. They keep playing, and we see their rank grow. But things don't seem to be going that smoothly. In the highlight film sampler, we hear,
"Time ago, there were 6 men in a house. At the top of the house lived a young man who was very cruel."
Now, what could this mean? There seems to be someone on the top wanting to almost control them. Someone from platform. And later,
sorry if I hear my stomach growling.
that he's probably the one who was watching them. After practicing for a bit, we see that they are finally able to have their first competition. But we see that as soon as they start playing, they get disqualified, meaning that the system is rigged. So, of course, our characters won't accept defeat easily, which is why they start making a plan to sneak onto the main stage and win, and practically hack platform. At the very beginning of the Test Me music video, we saw a sentence, "If you rig a rigged system, are you a villain or a hero?" And that is the first time, but definitely not the last, where we hear this moral dilemma being mentioned. We see them successfully go onto the main stage and win. But Platform is not happy with this result, so at the end of the MV, we can see a wanted poster with them in the picture. Now that the first chapter of our story is over, let me introduce you to the Alice in Wonderland theory. I don't want to make this more complicated than it already is, so I'll make it short and sweet. This theory is basically just a bunch of connections between Alice in Wonderland and Xdinary Heroes' story. There are character connections, scenes that resemble the ones from the movie, and basically everything is somehow connected. Why is this even a thing, you may be wondering? Well, I would say that Platform is somewhat inspired by Wonderland. It's this bizarre world that our characters can't escape from, just like Alice is struggling to escape from Wonderland. And that is what makes this so interesting. There isn't much to talk about here, but I still think it needs to be mentioned. You're probably asking why Happy Death Day is after Hello World.
I was literally just about to ask, so was that before?
You can see that the boys are already in Platform and are already rebelling against the system, which wouldn't make any sense if it was happening before Hello World. We are already seeing warnings and errors on different things, and the robot they are talking to doesn't seem really happy about what they're doing. Also, in the band performance, you can see that they wrecked the place. I mean, look at the floor. Platform is not going to be happy. We see that they are getting good feedback from the public, and are already getting quite popular. At the very end, there is a hand on a keyboard of a computer where you can tell that they are being watched. That is probably the cruel man from Platform that I mentioned earlier.
I wish I knew this before I watched Happy Death Day.
There is also a moment in Xdinary Heroes Awakening where we can see them being watched again.
Get a haircut, get a haircut, get a haircut.
Alright, now this is where everything starts to get confusing, so try your best to pay attention.
I'm locked in.
I think that the only way to connect the dots here is not to take the samplers too seriously. Because if they were actually 100% accurate to the lore, literally nothing would make sense. So I find that looking at these clips as more of an insight to what the characters are feeling and their current mental state makes much more sense. That being said, they all seem somewhat confused or conflicted about something. Oda seems to be going insane, Gaon is interrogating a teddy bear, and Junon is a mad scientist. I mean, yeah, they all seem troubled.
Yeah.
And at the end, we can see Oda taking a rotten apple, and in the shadow, he has horns. This is the first time where the conflict going on inside of their minds about their identity is shown. I mean, they are being called villains by Platform, remember? In Origin Season 3, we hear a voice say that they're topping the charts 14 weeks in a row. So our boys are getting quite popular. But when we see them IRL, they all seem quite sad. Is the real world not as fulfilling anymore?
They're gonna go back to
When
flat
they enter
form.
flat form, they seem happier. But Gown spills water onto the extension cord and all of the lights turn off and everything becomes dark again. This is when we see a switch in their personalities because I feel like this was almost a reality check for them, showing them that they can't just live in flat form forever. This can be seen through the shots of them looking depressed. Next thing shown is Julian breaking his base. And this is the point of the storyline where people start coming up with a bunch of different theories. But we will talk about those at the end of the video. For now, I will say that this is simply showing his emotions towards their current situation. And it's important that he is the one
It
that
said
does
something about too many electrical currents, right? And then he spilled water on the thingy.
Because he is also the last one out of all of his members to accept the reality of what is happening to him later on. In the haircut MV, they are on a platform map that is designed to look like an amusement park. And on the sign, we can see that it's called Platform Dream Garden. Now, remember how in the beginning we heard that they are getting popular? Well, now we can see people taking pictures of them and asking for autographs. But despite all this, they don't seem very happy or interested. Why? Well, they're all going through an inner conflict with themselves. This can be seen.
And then maybe haircut symbolizes, you know, people usually change their hair when they're like, I need to like, y'all don't use me as an example. You know how people change their hair whenever they're going through something? It's just like a change, like I need a fresh start. Let me drop in some little hints of lore. I don't know.
Scenes from the mirror.
I'm really enjoying this.
Where we can tell that they all seem scared while they're inside of it.
Hold on, wait. Let me get comfortable.
Their reflections aren't responding to what they're doing in real life.
Get
Now, let me explain what I think this inner conflict is about. Basically, since they entered Platform, people have been calling them villains. Or I would rather say Platform has been making them into these villains that they don't think they are. This is why when we see Ode in the mirror room, we can see a phrase, are you a villain or a hero? And we see him break the mirror that had that written on it. And that shows us that he doesn't want to accept what this game is making him into. But on the other hand, we see Gown accepting his bad side, and later on, when Jungsu is in the mirror room, Gown tells him, Welcome. Telling him to welcome his bad side and not to fight it. Remember how
but are they really villains?
Ode had a shadow with horns? A lot of people said that this was their way of showing us that Ode is somehow evil, but I think that with everything that happened after, and him being the one to have the hardest time accepting his bad side and breaking the mirror, just shows that he had that side to him all along, but he didn't want to accept it. Now, we see them set the place on fire. Yeah. We see them burn their instruments and enjoy the
little
chaos.
breaks of, yeah.
Just another way to piss off Platform. At the end of the MV, there is a phone on the ground and we see that a police report has been submitted.
Yeah.
And then there is a short clip of the same computer from Happy That Day MV saying threat
I felt like I
detected.
said something about that
They are definitely
during
being
my
watched
reaction.
and Platform is not happy with what they are seeing. Now, to add to all of this, I used Google Translate to translate the Xdinary Hero magazines, so it's probably not 100% accurate. But what we see is that the flat report is talking about Xdinary Heroes burning the brand new amusement park on its launching date. Now, this isn't going to cause the public to switch up on our boys, is it? Well, yes and no. Let's just say it's 50-50.
Yeah.
And in the magazine, it's also mentioned that XH is the reason for Platform even gaining so much popularity. So I bet that Platform staff is stressing right now. And the page ends with them saying that they will investigate the boys and everyone that attended the showcase. And that brings us to the next chapter.
Freaking good, freaking good. Hold on. Just like a situation. During the same resource. If I do. I didn't even know this was deadlock, right? Wow.
This segment starts in an empty big room with 6 beds and platform is written on
I feel like I need a snack and a drink.
It's pretty safe to say that this is a prison. Well, kind of. We can see some clips that are happening out of this room, but at the same time, so how are they locked in a prison cell but are outside doing something else at the same time? Well, they aren't. This is just another battle in their own minds. If you pay attention to the scene where we can see Ode being chased, you can tell that the person chasing him is Gaon. He is the one who was also telling his members to welcome their bad side. And now he is still trying to get Ode to just accept reality. We also see Gunsu being in a time loop, which is something that will be important later on. At the end of the video, we see the members looking at the prison bars and wanting to get out. But while the members are dreaming of getting out, Gano figures something out. He can literally just leave. This was simply a mental prison and they could have gotten out all along. Now that they seem to have their thoughts together, at least for now, they decide they want to do something fun.
They're all like, whoa.
They decide that they want to go busking at a platform mall that is about to go out of business. I mean, that's okay. It's not like they're going to do something wrong. Well, in their timeline of XH platform mall arrest case, we see that Jungsu sprayed red for the performance makeup, which is why we see him in the Freaking Bad MV with red hair and sprayed bottle in his hand. We also see Juyeon saying his bass string broke and he is going to replace it. Well, the police thought that the makeup was blood and that the bass string is actually there to tie someone up. Honestly, to me, it just seems like they really want to arrest them no matter what, even if they didn't do anything wrong.
They'll find something.
The lyrics of Bad also make a lot of sense.
Please.
They keep talking about everyone framing them as bad when they are actually good. They get interrogated and arrested.
That line I was talking about earlier where I said I thought I heard something, they were saying something similar to that in Haircut, I think.
But while they were being transferred to the police station, an explosion happens.
Right, in the bus crash.
Yes, they are burning something down again. The boys are claiming that the explosion happened because of a simple voltage difference and that it wasn't intentional. Do I believe them? Not really sure, to be honest. They seem to enjoy the chaos, and why would Junhan plug this in so aggressively? But on the other hand, it could have been just an accident. They escape, and we can see the jailbreak news everywhere.
Me personally, I don't see why they would be villains. It's giving vigilante. Live lock is a special case. Research starvation. A real world example live lock occurs when two people meet in a narrow corridor. Peach Leaf,
to start this chapter, we will be talking about Juyeon. Remember how I mentioned that he was the first one to break, which can be seen with him breaking his instrument? Well, now everyone seems to already have welcomed their bad side and accepted that they aren't perfect, while he is the only one that seems stuck.
Yeah.
He is in a car and he wants to start driving, but there is a motorcycle circling around him and he isn't letting him go. The biker goes away and Juyeon still can't leave. He quite literally seems stuck. We get a reveal that the biker was Jungsu all along. To me, it seems like Jungsu and the other guys wanted to help Juyeon with making him realize that the only thing holding him back is himself.
Ooh.
We finally see him escape and go back to his friends where he seems happy. Anyways, you might think that we will finally get some time to relax because the guys seem happy. Well, you are wrong. They are in prison uniforms.
Hello?
Seems like they weren't free for too long. And guess what? They are on a run once again. They are in prison outfits, in a train, fighting the police officers and trying to get away.
I want to watch this.
We see that they are in a time loop and they keep having to do everything all over again. As we keep watching the Break the Break MV, we see that the only way to stop the time loop is quite literally to break the brake of the moving train. They succeed and cause yet another explosion. These guys just love arson, don't they? In the flat report from the Xdinary Heroes magazine, they talk about this incident and say that there are many users that aren't happy about the server stability and platform because of the recent glitches causing a time loop, performances seem out of sync, and the levels of the players are glitched. Which also explain why on another page of the magazine Juyeon level was glitched. And we also got a segment from Platform saying,
"We apologize for adding to the confusion in the system. The recent service problem was a simple technical defect, and the management is responsible for failing to manage it thoroughly."
The public isn't happy about any of this.
Right, what you mean, the management?
They don't seem to support Xdinary Heroes, but they're also mad at Platform for even letting Xdinary Heroes escape again. Will that ever change?
Network troubleshooting, active discovering, correct mouse, connectivity, performance security, and
Now, it's time for my personal favorite part of the story, troubleshooting. A lot of the lore here is taken from the 11-minute mood film, which is beautifully shot, and I highly recommend watching the whole thing after you finish this video. In this short film, we see that they are back in the real world. After everything that happened, they can't go back to Platform. But now what do? They spent the past 4 years in this virtual world, not paying attention to the real one. They aren't together anymore. They don't have any friends. They don't have hobbies. They are just there.
That sucks.
Dive into reality. But do they have to? After everything they've been through, it's all gone. Jungsu is calling Juyeon, but he doesn't seem interested in answering. Jungsu listens to music to avoid reality. Ganel's taking pictures in the middle of nowhere. Gaon has a guitar on his back but doesn't seem happy. Junhan is playing his guitar but he misses his members. And then there is Ode. He finds a Platform poster on the wall. He misses it, but he hates it at the same time. He rips it off the wall, and on the other side, he finds...
Y'all ever seen Alice in Borderlands? Well, I can make that, actually, no, scratch that. We're gonna go to Squid Game. You know how in Squid Game Season 1, Episode 1, where they make it to the place, and then maybe it's Episode 2, they get the choice to leave, and they all leave, and then they get back to the real world, and they're like, the real world is shit. I want to go back. So they go back. Yeah.
This. Are you alive or just existing? This can't be the end, right? Ganel sends pictures he took to Junhan. And he sees the poster Ode put up and takes a picture of it. They all seem to find each other in one way or another. Except for Juyeon. He had the hardest time in Platform, and now he just doesn't know what to do with himself anymore. There is something on the floor. The picture Gunnel took of Oda's poster. We finally see a small smile appear on his face. So, what will happen now? They finally realize that they don't need platform, they literally just need each other and their instruments.
And when I cry, is this a music video? Stop, because I'm really about to cry.
세상이 펼쳐진 끝없는 연결 앞에 이제는 사라지지 않을 우리의 내일을 보여주려고.
And the little things in V, they are playing their instruments together IRL for the first time.
Shut up, I don't want to hear
They
that.
are still hiding from the world. After a bit, they realize they don't need to do that. They aren't on the run anymore. They get out of the hole they were hiding in, and they see a puddle on the ground and look at their reflection. It's them from platform. They ran over it, and finally, they are letting platform go. And they start playing on the street in the rain, and they look happy.
No arson, yay!
Alright, so this is when I have to remind you that I'm probably not smart enough to be doing this. Before I get into the theories for this part of the story, let me just say that Gano mentioned that the platform lore is officially over now, and that the story continues for them as real people. This could mean a lot of things. It could mean that the music videos technically aren't related to the lore anymore, and that does make sense when you look at the closed beta music videos. Or that the lore is just over now. It could also mean that the lore continues and it just doesn't have anything to do with platform anymore, and it's more based on them, which is how I decided to look at it. One very important thing to mention is that Ganel said that they got out of platform and this is the first album they are releasing in the real world. So yeah, they are finally here. Welcome. Also, XH_world_75 is supposed to represent the real world, and they also said it's supposed to represent a new beginning. Now let's get into the chapter that made me cry my eyes out because of how hard it was to figure out. Throughout the whole story, we saw apples were being shown.
Oh my god! I literally said that when I first started watching XD. I was like, I wonder if apples are significant. If apples are significant, I'm gonna be mad at y'all for not telling me, because I said that. I thought it was just a one-off thing.
Time to talk about it. Apples tend to carry a lot of symbolic weight depending on the context. In books and mythology, they're often associated with knowledge, temptation, or even immorality.
Because instead, there were a lot of apples. A lot of apples.
The story of Adam and Eve. The apples represent forbidden knowledge and the consequences of giving in to temptation. So whether it's representing temptation, health, or even something emotional, apples are pretty versatile in their meaning, depending on how they're used in a story. So in this case, I would say that they're forbidden fruit. And platform is the forbidden fruit. In Ring and Fall, the characters are seen having another inner conflict. They can't go back to platform anymore, so now they have to face reality. They lost themselves in the world of platform, and now that they are out, they don't know who they are anymore. Now, you see all of these circles here? And this one specifically? Well, let me explain the ring theory by Susan Silk. Ring theory helps us figure out who should get support and who can bend when something tough happens, like an illness or loss. Look at these series of rings. In the middle is the person going through the hardest time, and around them are other rings with people who are less involved or affected, with those further out having the most distant connection to the crisis. The rule here is simple. Comfort in, and dump out. If you're on the outside, your role is to support the people closer to the center. If you need to vent, you direct that towards someone in a ring further from the center than you. The closer you are to the crisis, the more support you deserve. The further out you are, the more you need to offer support and not add stress. This way, the person dealing with the most pain gets the care they need, and everyone else has a place to express themselves without putting extra pressure on those at the heart of the situation.
Okay.
Why is this important? I don't know.
It was a cool fun fact,
though.
There
were too many parallels for me to ignore. To me, it seems like this is supposed to show us that they are in...
I don't know if... No, this is a little bit older. In the new one that I watched, the new mood film, Junhan was drawing a heart, and I know it's like death, love to death, so it's about love, but he was drawing a heart around ants. I feel like I need to go back to that. Damn, I feel like I need to rewatch everything now.
The center and need that support from the other rings. Honestly, I'm not sure, and I don't want to pretend like I understand. The MV for Night Before the End seems to be related to the song itself and not really the lore, just like the singles from the beta project. There are moths in the MV, and moths symbolize unconditional love, and they are seen chasing the light that is leading them to nothing, and that matches perfectly with their lyrics. But instead of me telling you what I think the message is, let's listen to what the guys themselves have to say about the album.
제 생각에는 넘어져도 괜찮다인 것 같아요. 넘어져도 그것도 인생의 일부분이고, 인생을 너무 깊게 생각하지 말고 본인의 스타일대로, 본인의 페이스대로 살아가라. 그러니까 이런 메시지를 전하고 싶었습니다.
저희가 시작은 이제 온라인으로 시작을 했잖아요.
네.
이제 거기에서 벗어나서 또 이번 엑스페리먼트 프로젝트 거치고 현실 속에 발을 내딛으면서 저희의 삶의 어떤 생동감 그리고 추락들을 여러 가지 곡들의 장르로 많이 표현을 해서 담아봤고, 어둠이 있기에 빛이 있다 그런 말처럼 뭔가 넘어질 때 사람은 더 크게 성장을 한다고 생각을 하는
맞아요.
What a sweet little message for what seems to be such a dark album. But what they are saying here actually really does make sense, especially with the whole circle thing. I mean, circles usually symbolize unity and perfection, infinity in life, without beginning or end. So yeah, it definitely does make sense. There is also clips of them answering a question, if I had one last moment in this lifetime, with two versions of themselves answering. And I think that this comment explains it perfectly.
Do you want me to read it out loud? I thought the first one is usual him and the second one is his artist self, if it makes sense. And since they're unable to enter the platform anymore, it may be questioning which is the real me. Or since they're unhappy with their real life and personalities, it must be something awakening inside them that accepts two versions of them are real, so they don't need to hold back anymore. Hey. I want to do a video. I don't know why I say hey to get y'all's attention. I want to do a video of just straight XD emotional songs, and I'll have a box of tissues, and I'll be ready. I want to do that.
Now that we are officially done with the main theory, let's finally get into the more controversial ones. This is probably the most popular one out of all the ones I will mention, and it simply explores the idea that some of the members are villains. People usually say that it's either Gaon or Julian. When you remember some of their scenes, that would definitely make sense. Gaon being the first one to accept his bad side could also be taken as him just being a bad guy and wanting to lure the others in. He's also seen chasing Alde, which definitely can seem suspicious. As for Julian, people thought that he was a villain mostly because of him breaking his base in Overload
That was it.
and then being stuck in Livelock. But honestly, if you look at all of the members, they could all be villains. They all have their weird and suspicious moments, which is what made me think that there is no villains at all.
Right, okay.
I mean, isn't the point of the whole moral dilemma of being a villain or a hero to show us that you can be both?
See, that's what I was saying.
I also think that it would simply not be very marketable to make any of the members a bad guy. Time to introduce you to one of my favorites. The idea here is that Platform made a digital copy.
Evil twins could be like used for the I can't remember what the song is called right now. That music video. Because you know at the end it was 2 versions of them. Dang, Beautiful Life.
Of every member to keep them in check and make sure that they aren't burning down yet another building. If we take the samplers seriously, this is the only theory that would make sense, at least a little. We see 2 versions of members in Overload in the mirror room, and there are also times where one member is in 2 different places at the same time, like in Livelock Sampler where Jungsu is stopping Juyeon from leaving. What stopped me from believing in this is that if they really had digital twins, everything else in the samplers should also be taken seriously, which would make this story an absolute mess. And also the emotional journey the characters took wouldn't have been that impactful,
Right.
and the troubleshooting chapter would be underwhelming. This one is really interesting and it's related to the villain theory. To explain it simply, if Gan being a villain is true, this is about him stealing the other members' identities. Why? Not quite sure. I couldn't find any good explanations on Twitter for why people
Why are they trying to make Gollum be the bad guy?
Him being evil. But I thought I should talk about this theory because it's super intriguing.
Because he was
Why
a little
do you think this
suspicious.
is a
It's
thing?
alright.
Well, because of Overload. In the mirror room, his reflection was showing Olde, and he also had a hairstyle and an outfit similar to Julian's. But that's about it.
Well, yeah. Oh, I don't like everything was a dream.
Self-explanatory. I don't want to waste your time explaining why this doesn't make sense because, girl. Well, there we go. Hopefully this helped you understand the lore at least a little bit better.
Yes.
If you have any theories, feel free to share them in the comments. And congratulations for making it through this long video. You deserve a little gift for having such an amazing attention span.
Oh my god. Evil Golems. Did I watch a video from them? Oh no, I watched a TikTok from them. I love this video. Is it actually working? That was such a good video. Peach Leaf, you never disappoint me. I love your channel so much. I've already subscribed. I subscribed like 2 months ago. That was a really, really cool video and it was so interesting. Like, I've never seen any of the really early Xdinary stuff because when they first debuted, I watched Happy Death Day. Then there was a gap until I started getting into them the last few months. Like, so I missed all that. I didn't know anything about platform. That's such a cool concept, and I love it, and it needs to be a movie, and I'm obsessed all over again. But anyways, yes, I hope you liked this video and enjoyed the rest of your day scrolling on YouTube, because I know you will be. Bye.